How do we listen? More importantly, how do we really listen when we're involved in a sales negotiation? How do you know a customer's needs if you're not listening to really determine what those needs are? Mediocre salespeople typically ramble on and on about the product they are selling, telling the customer about all the special features of the product, all the ways that the product can help the customer, all the selling points that he has been trained to say. But the problem with this approach, tried and true it has been since the beginning of time, when Eve sold Adam the biggest, the best tasting, and the reddest apple in the world, is that most salesmen, or saleswomen as the case may be, don't listen to what the customer actually needs. In Eve's case, if she would have asked Adam what he thought about the apple, she would have found out that Adam had had a little talk with God about that very apple, and that eating it would be very bad for their health and well-being, to say nothing about the rest of their lives. Now that's an extreme story, but it tells us a little bit about listening. Instead of talking so much in a sales negotiation, or in any conversation for that matter. In my other life, I was a general contractor. I built rather large houses in fancy neighborhoods. I generally had to deal with subcontractors, but that was the easy part because they submitted bids and I decided whether or not I wanted them to build the houses for me based on their price, their quality, and reputation. And I was what they called good pay, so I never had a problem attracting good subcontractors. But I also had to deal with potential homeowners, not just to make a deal that was equitable for them, but was also profitable for me. And I was really good at it. I was really adaptable. I could see their needs and I could usually overcome any objections that they might have. I would sell them myself, my reputation, and my business. By the end of the negotiation, I usually felt relatively confident that the house would be built, I would get paid, and everyone would live happily ever after. In the negotiation process, there were a lot of details to be discussed. Not so much the paint colors, the appliances, brick or siding colors, landscaping, and things like that, but big costly things like fireplaces and swimming pools. In one such negotiation, the husband started talking about a fireplace in the family room. So I immediately went on my spiel about how well I could build it for them, how I had the best stone mason in the region, and on and on and on, never shutting up, hardly ever letting him get a word in. Somewhere in the conversation, he did mention a swimming pool, but in my zest to get something settled, I didn't hear him mentioning it at all. Later, the wife told me confidentially that he really didn't want a fireplace, that he actually wanted a lap pool, and that the only reason he mentioned a fireplace was to placate her so that she would let him spend the money on the pool. Needless to say, if I would have shut up and listened, I would have known the whole story and could have saved myself money and time, since now I had to build not only the swimming pool, which is a big hassle and almost always delays the building process, but I had to build the fireplace as well. One time in a car negotiation, after my dad had told me to just give the salesperson my price and then shut up, I took his advice. When I just sat there with my arms folded, waiting for him to say something, he started talking. On and on he kept talking, but I just waited him out. And the surprising thing to me was I got the deal for my price just by being quiet. It was a lesson well learned, and ever since I learned to shut up. That's my take on listening. I hope you enjoyed it.